What is up guys, Cody here, and welcome back to some more Napoleon's Little War. So this is going to be a 1v1 on Prussian Hills. Zach actually sent me in this replay, and he's going to be in command of the British. So this is a 1v1, and let's get right into his army comp. So the rules for this battle were 2 artillery max and max 2 lights. So starting on the left flank, he's got some King's German Legion light dragoons. These guys are very mobile and are well equipped. They can shoot, but not on horseback, so he will have to dismount if he does want to engage. For his light infantry, he's got some rifles here on the far left flank. Next to them, or actually shifted them over. In the distance, he's brought 1 6-pound horse artillery. As for light infantry, he's brought a ton of Highland foot, as well as foot. Not to mention some foot guards to keep the elite troops. And then he's got some more rifles, dragoons, and horse guards. So right away, you can tell Zach is going to be pushing up this hill much quicker than his counterpart over here. You can see he's going to be facing the French here. And the French are just chilling in the back. He is sending up some troops, but these guys are marching towards the hill. Now, on the other hand, the French player does have experimental howitzers. These guys are cav killing machines and pretty much able to kill any unit on the battlefield. So he's going to be at the base of the hill. These guys are able to arch their volleys, so that means he can hit behind the hill and hopefully kill off any enemy units. But taking a look at his army, he's got some chasseurs, he's got some lancers, experimental howitzers, old guard, young guard, a lot of troops, but the first volley has been fired. Definitely landing short of the dragoons, but he is definitely training in his artillery, trying to pinpoint where the enemy forces are. So continuing the army comp, he's got some Swiss foot, more experimental howitzers, and some chasseurs, cheval, and lancers. So daring charge here by Zach. He's actually going to be charging into some French lancers here. And these dragoons and horse guards are definitely outmatched in this battle. The French are definitely more equipped, and we will see if the chasseurs cheval can get their volleys off right now. They are farming up, but the horse guards are coming in, getting very close to French positions. But we will see, can these guys get their shots off? And it looks like a couple did manage to get their volleys off. Artillery coming in now. And actually killing quite a bit of these horse guards. You see morale is very bad. Chasseurs cheval engaging at point blank ranges. And we have the old guard here now engaging. We will see this devastating volley unfolds. Downing his own men, but actually killing more of the horse guards. You can see this lancer unit actually breaking the dragoons, and just like that, Zach is down 2 cav units. So very daring move here, and it looks like he was trying to get to the artillery, but was definitely stopped short by some pretty elite troops. But Zach, on the other hand, is going to return volleys with his own artillery. He's going to be targeting the experimental howitzers. Now these guys are going to get some return volleys in, and we will see if they are a little bit more accurate this time. That one seemed to be on point, but still unable to kill anyone. Over here, it looks like the French are going to be faced with an uphill battle right now. 2 extremely elite units. We have the Young Guard up against some King's German Legion and foot. But holding the high ground, the British troops are going to be much more effective. And on this side as well, Fusiliers facing an uphill battle. We have some foot guards marching across the battlefield. They're taking some pretty heavy losses, but here comes the Highland foot to try and help the engagement out. And also the rifles. So he's going to be trying to take up this tree line here, trying to get some protection. But once again, another volley coming in. And look at this, chasseurs cheval actually taking out Zach's artillery piece. So I was not able to capture it, but it looks like he was able to overrun this position. Not only that, but breaking this defensible unit. So it looks like the French players doing a really good job with cav management, completely destroying the left flank of Zach. Excuse me. He's going to definitely outmaneuver the enemy force. It looks like Zach did forget a light unit in the distance here, and that is going to come. They really need this unit up here, so he will eventually push these guys up. But as for right now, these foot and King's German Legion are pretty isolated. But taking a look at the French positions, they are definitely suffering many more losses than the British. And it looks like the center for the French is starting to crumble. He does have this old guard or young guard unit in the forest here. But from their point of view, complete uphill battle. And he's just hoping the French artillery can help win the day for this line engagement. Fusiliers trying their best, doing as much damage as possible. And same as over here, Swissfoot breaking from the battlefield, but they do hold some pretty high numbers, so they might come back. And look at this, Zach getting charged into by the Lancers, and just like that, there goes his general. So very bad morale for Zach now. And just perfect example of this, we got this foot here, and it looks like the Chasseurs is shooting them from the back right now. So perfect management with the cavalry, trying to outmaneuver and use their mobility to benefit the French army. So right now he is getting double teamed from both sides, and it looks like another unit did break, so that King's German Legion unit did rout from the battlefield, and now the Old Guard are being pushed up. Cheval getting a fantastic charge in, unable to form a square. Once again, Zach unable to try and prevent this cavalry from doing more damage, and just like that, another foot unit has broken from the battlefield. Looks like he's going to continue his charge. Got the officer here with his pistol, and he's going to be walking into this foot unit, but the foot did form a square, so the Cheval, they are going to die a very brutal death, but they are going to fight to the last man. 2 chevrons they've earned, so definitely worth it. Another push here by cavalry. We've got some lancers now on the right flank, and we will see if they can do a similar tactic as before. And it looks like the Swissfoot did come back from routing, so they're going to get in on the action. Some more lancers being sent in, but Zach, will he be able to form square is the question. And it looks like he will not, so another great charge by the Lancers. These guys are very tired from running behind enemy lines, but they're still going to be able to get a really good charge in. And this French or British morale is not looking good right now, just holding on by a thread, but it does look like the morale is going back up. Lancers in melee combat right now, but British numbers still very high, but very important engagement on the far left flank. We have some foots up against the Old Guard, and foot guards against the Young Guard, and some more Old Guard. So it should be a very good engagement, and it looks like this left flank is going to really determine who will win this side of the battle. As for the center, Swissfoot engaging once again on an uphill battle, and these Chasseurs caught in square formation. Not looking good for these guys. They are in a pretty much a fixed position, so the Highland Foot are going to have a fun time slaughtering these guys as they stay in melee combat. As for on the left flank, Highland Foot just punishing the Swissfoot on this uphill engagement, and once again very unsuccessful in that attempt to attack the hill, but he still holds this artillery piece here. And let's take a look on the other side of the battle. So it looks like the British are going to be charging into this experimental howitzer. Definitely unprotected. These Dragoons did come back from the battlefield, and they're going to unleash hell on these experimental howitzer pieces. They have no clue what's about to hit them, and here comes the Dragoons charging in, dropping their numbers to 12 instantly. But it looks like over here on the left flank, the Old Guard are starting to push through, breaking this first foot unit. But we have the Black Watch now pushing up. But as for this artillery piece, they did break, and the cavalry only losing 2 guys, and now they are headed for the French general, Napoleon Bonaparte himself. Will he survive? We will see. Napoleon is definitely keeping the French morale very, very high. And now it looks like the Old Guard controlled the high ground. Morale for the Highland Foot, the Black Watch, very low. Got 2 Old Guard units engaging this one unit. So things do look very promising for the French on this far left flank. But Zach's going to be shifting over more units. He's actually going to be pushing up his rifles now that he forgot about. And these guys will have heavy influence. He might be able to actually pinch this Old Guard unit on 2 sides. But it does look like Napoleon did hold his ground, only losing 4 guys, and he is still alive. So like I said, French morale is still going to be very, very high. Now Fusilier is going to get some flanking volleys in on the rifles as they do engage the Old Guard from a distance. Looks like the Highland Foot are going to be retreating after seeing the Black Watch routing. But the British still hold a very big army, especially on the far left flank. It's got Highland Foot still, not to mention some more foot. But there is still this experimental howitzer, and they're going to continue to rain hell on British positions. You can see them pushing up now towards their location. He still has this militia unit that is perfectly healthy, but right now this old guard unit is fighting off a ton of British units. We have this rifle unit here about to form up and hopefully get some really good volleys in on the French old guard. We will see how deadly this volley will be when they do start to engage, reforming their lines right now, and hopefully they will engage to help out this poor foot unit that is getting absolutely slaughtered. So there they go, getting their shots in and starting to down a lot of the old guard. Now for some odd reason, looks like he's going to be forming square with the old guard. And this is going to allow these rifles to get some really good shots in. But here comes the British line infantry. Looks like they're going to be firing canister. And they're going to be ripping holes into the Highland foot. Look at those bodies drop. So marching towards the artillery. Zach really not making a smart decision here. Needs to be running his troops in because canister is just very unpredictable. In a heartbeat, you guys can be just mass routing. So gotta be very careful when you're going head on with artillery like this. But Zach is going to try and get some shots in, but it does not look like it is enough. So he's going to commence the charge order. And once again, another canister volley ripping through the lines, not only hitting one unit, but hitting the units behind it as well. Officer dying. But will these guys hold? They are in the middle of reloading right now. And it looks like they will break through to the experimental howitzers. So, experimental howitzers trying their best. They did down a lot of troops here as they did try to push in. But as time progressed, the British did get closer and end up breaking this howitzer unit. Now on this hill, it looks like the old guard have had enough of this rifle unit, which has backed off. So Zach's doing a really good job at keeping its distance between him and the enemy. And here's another rifle unit. They are going to be reforming as well as this Highland foot. Now the militia are going to be holding the line. We have militia up against the two Highland foot and a foot unit, but Napoleon Bonaparte is definitely close by, and he, like I said, once again, going to keep the morale very high for his men, and hopefully keep his men on the battlefield for as long as possible. The engagement is still too close to call who is winning this engagement, but the militia are up against a lot right now, definitely outskilled and outnumbered. But we will see what morale, or Napoleon's morale can bring to the table. You see him running over in the distance. And it looks like it seems to be working. Foot losing a lot of morale right now and actually breaking. So militia holding the line really, really well right now despite the circumstances. And right now, these old guard are getting shot from the distance, or in the distance here. Losing a lot of guys, so he really needs to push up right now or fall back to a safer location, because as of right now, the British are getting free kills on the French units. Over here though, militia starting to lose a lot of men, and there they go. Down to 40 men. They have been broken. And it looks like Napoleon shifting over to where his old guard is, seeing that these guys are much more elite. He does not want to be with the scrubs nearby the militia. So he's going to keep his standards high and stay with the old guard, as mean as that sounds. But here he goes, old guard being pushed up once again, but taking a devastating volley from the Highland foot, bringing their numbers down to 50 men. And it looks like the old guard will get some return volleys in. Morale is low for the British, seeing that their general is dead, and they are facing an extremely elite unit by the French. But these shots are very accurate from the old guard. But I think numbers are going to start to win out here. Old guard getting very low on manpower. Only 32 men left in this unit. Napoleon Bonaparte is only able to watch as his men get slaughtered. So he's actually going to inspire his men, and this is going to keep them in the battle for a little bit longer. Got the officer here acting very tough, not flinching. But down to 28 men, very low numbers, but still green morale. Officer and his unit taking a brutal beating. As for on the left flank, old guard actually doing a really good job shooting at these rifles. Rifles seem to be forming up for another volley here. So 42 men. They're actually going to be reloading their guns right now. The question is, will these Old Guard make it to the rifle lines? 47 up against 41, getting some shots in point-blank volleys. But the Old Guard are getting very closer. Rifles not missing their shots, and they're actually going to be retreating. So 37 up against 47. British morale very low right now. 32 up against 37. And it does look like the British do rout. So down to the final 2 units now. 4 on 2, or excuse me, 4 on 5. So Zach does hold the advantage here in numbers, but the morale is very, very bad. He only has a couple units with green morale. These guys over here, they have 106 men in orange morale. So just shows you how important bringing a good general and good units can be. But we're going to fast forward for now, waiting for the next engagement to begin. And it looks like the Old Guard are going to be controlling the high ground. So the first time in the battle, the French do control the high ground, and this can be very important for them. This hill can definitely determine whether or not the French will win this battle. But being outnumbered, things are not looking good right now, especially from the... Actually, that is very interesting to see. So, balance of power is showing that it is favoring the French army, which is extremely interesting, seeing that he probably has just about maybe 50 men in total. So, we will see if the balance of power is correct. I'm having very low doubts about the French army, but who knows? Maybe they'll get a mass rout. So Old Guard forming up. They need to get this first volley in order to try and break the Highland Foot. But it looks like the Highland Foot will get first volleys. And just like that, down to 21 men. 19 men, 17 men, and just like that, that unit has broken from the battlefield. Napoleon actually being a coward right now, running to the edge of the map. He wants to leave, he wants to go back home, but that is not an option for him. So soon he's going to be forced to turn around and face his fate. So very coward move by the general. Napoleon Bonaparte, definitely a shame. If I was in his army right now, I'd be extremely disappointed in his actions. But he is going to charge in, seeing that he's not going to break from the battlefield. And this is just hilarious. Balance of power showing the French are winning this battle by a long shot right now. I mean, this is like, I would say 95% sure the balance of power is favoring the French. But we will see what Zach has in store. He definitely outnumbers them, but still not good morale for Alex. Now, desperate charge here from Napoleon. He's actually going to be charging into British positions. And it's an uphill charge too, so it's going to slow him down. Highland Foot now forming up, getting ready for this charge from Napoleon Bonaparte. Shifting over his troops, but it looks like he will make it into melee combat, seeing that none of the British units are ready. He does form square though. And let's take a look from Napoleon's point of view. Actually killing one British soldier. And he did rout, but will he die is the question. And yes, he will. So Emperor Napoleon is dead from the battlefield, and that is the game. So very interesting matchup. Zach on top, 959 kills, but the French shortly behind with 862. So very close matchup. And very close in deaths. But Zach did deploy a lot more troops. You see he brought a lot more line infantry. And I think that second experimental howitzer unit was pretty much worthless for the French, and that's probably the reason why they lost the battle. So taking a look at the statistics, we have the foot guards on top, 141 kills, and right behind that we have the rifles. So excellent game. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and just a little heads up or notes, I did pass 1,000 subscribers. I cannot thank you guys enough for the tremendous support. It's been an awesome journey on YouTube, and I really am appreciative of how far we have come. It's all the thanks to you guys. I take no credit in this whatsoever. You guys keep me wanting to continue posting content and just keep me motivated to make more. So thank you guys so much for that. I will post a special video soon to come. Gotta think of some ideas or what I can do. So leave that in the comments on what I should do for my 1K special, you could say. So anyways guys, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys later. Of the